Good. So now the recording starts, and so welcome everyone who joined us today. We I chose today um, a couple of texts, a couple of midrashim that we can study. We came to Parshat Ba'alotcha, and it's an interesting the fact that we are in two different places today in the Jewish world. In Israel, Ba'alotcha was read last week, and we will read it only this week because of the change when Shavuot fell on Shabbat. So the midrashim are going like in the coming weeks. We will soon get it in place again. But right now we are in two different places, so we are a bit behind in diaspora. But it's fine because we take our time to do things seriously, and we are in the Parashat Ba'alotcha. I will share the. I will share the text that I want to study today. Here it is. Good. And we'll do it a bit bigger so everyone can see. Yes, everyone can see? Good. Good. Parashat Ba'alotcha, the first words in Ba'alotcha, Ba'alotcha Tenorot, the very first part of the parasha talks about candle lighting. The menorah that has, of course, a deep meaning for all of us. The menorah in many years was the symbol of Jews. The Star of David became a symbol of the Jews only 200-300 years ago. Up to that, and also long after, the menorah was the main symbol for Jews. So there's something about it, about this menorah. I think also part of it might be the fact that it was also presented in Rome. It's you find in on Titus Gate the Titus Gate. That's also the name in English. Shah Titus. I think that the name. It's it's a gate that he built to as a parade when he won the war, and he put there's a symbol of the Jewish slave that he brought from Israel carrying the menorah, and that picture is became also a very very strong symbol of us going to exile. So, but long before that, the menorah is a very central piece in the temple, of course. And we can ask ourselves many questions about, and the Midrashim also ask why was it needed to light a candle? Who needs the lights? Who needs the candles? What's the goal of this menorah? There are many Midrashim that you can look upon. But I want to start with a very interesting Midrash. Very interesting. It looks on the it doesn't look so interesting to begin with, but I want to try to find out together what does this midrash try to tell us. So it starts like this: when you kindle Ba'alotcha, we find in many places that the Holy One, blessed be He, commanded concerning the lamps and the lighting with olive oil. Okay, we find many different places this commandment, and now comes a few examples. In Shemot, in Exodus 27, and you shall command the children of Israel that they bring you pure pressed olive oil. Okay, so one place you have in the book of Exodus and Mosebo, Sefer Shemot, and likewise it says in Leviticus, he shall arrange the lamps on the pure menorah. It says about Aaron in the book of Leviticus, Tzoya Mosebo, Vayikra. And so too here, when you kindle the lamps. Ba'alotcha et hanorot. Now this is the whole Midrash. This is the first Midrash of Midrash Rabbah. What kind of a Midrash is this? Like, what does it say? And why? Like, what? Help me here. I said it was very interesting, and it looks like he just like gathered all the places where it was said something about the menorah. Yeah, Michael, I can already see that you
Yeah.
did it yourself.
The,
So
the, the word the word tehura, the pure, the pure that is special for the menorah.
but the pure is it says it should be pure. Uh, it says in it said it's pure in my both in Shmot and in Vaikra.
Exactly.
So why does he need
Yeah.
like
Yeah, here I'm not sure. I read something a time ago, so I'm not sure it is pure or holy. But there is no blood. There's no blood on the menorah, and therefore it is called pure
the pure
or
menorah? So you
yeah,
focus on, but if that were the case, like if the goal of the Midrash here is to say that the menorah is pure, first of all, you have it explicitly. It says so in Vaikra. But the Midrash here doesn't mention, like in comparison with anything else. It doesn't say, look, the menorah is pure while everything else is holy, right? Like I understand what you're saying, and probably there is somewhere in Midrash that saying what you say, but here I can't see that they focus specifically on the pure. The vice versa, the Midrash here says explicitly that like the only thing that I can find here that says, oh, we find many places that God commanded about this. Like, okay, so what? Like, what did the Midrash want from us? Why did he, the rabbi? This one is not. You don't have a rabbi who was the one to say it. Many times, as we, it starts with a rabbi. Who was the rabbi who said it? So here we don't have it. We have an anonymous Midrash. It uses valuable ink and leather that it was written on many years ago, or paper, I don't know, in order to say God commanded on the candles many places.
To bring the light or to make the light, to take
Yes,
out the dark.
but like he doesn't talk here about the light. I can tell you, you're right, Paula, that all the next midrashim talk about the light. And they speak so much about the light and the light that goes out of the temple. What's unique about this light that is different than any other light? All the other midrashim talks about the light. The word light is not mentioned in this midrash. So you're right in principle, but I'm asking about this midrash. This midrash doesn't refer. I didn't at least. I don't think the word
But
light is
we
even
we
mentioned.
we have some midrashim that are very technical. It's like they are some not midrashim, like not the midrashim, the parashot that are very technical. So the information
Yes.
is how you need to do the things.
Yeah.
And maybe this is the things like the menorah needs to be something that was not used for idolatry. Maybe that's why it's taor and not tameh, maybe, and that the olive needs to be the best one. I think maybe is that everything needs to be the best one in the temple, and maybe this we need to think even that when we make a mitzvah, we need to do the best of the mitzvah and need to be like to think like avodah zarah and so many things like are we what we are doing is like connect to God or we are doing something else. This is
So
what I
Paula,
understand for these two
yeah,
three things.
yes. Thank you so much. I think what you do now is now you are creating a midrash, which is a beautiful thing, right? Creating a midrash is like taking different texts, an idea that you have from other places, and and come with it as a midrash. But almost not. Sorry, I'll be so blunt. Almost not one word of what you said is written here in this midrash, right? You came with idea that you have. That correct me if I'm wrong, right? You didn't say all these things because you read it in this midrash, right? You came with ideas and you said maybe it touches this, maybe. And I want you to all to exercise something else when reading midrashim, that you try to stick to what's written here, not to what we want to be written here, not what we maybe remember we studied in the kindergarten or in another shiur, but what does this midrash wants to tell us? So which tools? So asking this is also a methodical. What I do now is I'm trying to teach you how to study. Okay, it's a method that I really believe in, that when you go to study a text, you should come as plain as possible, as if you didn't learn anything else before. Like to come to this text, not knowing what is written in other places and not wanting to find something in the text, but trying to be open to what is it this text is trying to tell us. So what should I focus on?
It's
To try to
technical.
understand what this text wants to tell me. What do I need to do? Just like any text, even if
It's,
I brought here
and then it's
a
technical.
poem.
It's like exact what you need to do. When you candle, pure olive oil
Yeah.
and pure tar.
Okay, let's. So you said something about you find here. You could see that they quoted something about pure oil, but we also need to listen to the wording in this midrash, because if the focus wanted to be on the pure oil, I think they would have written something else. Like this is not in focus of this. In my meaning, yes, Tikva.
Well, I think that the message also is to maintain. We have the own responsibility to maintain the light. When
Where do you see the word light and where do you see the word maintain?
the menorah, our menorah, we have the responsibility. I think we cannot compare. I know I see that we cannot compare and do the another's compare myself what another they do, but I have my own responsibility to light my own menorah, my spiritual life, my I don't know I
I,
have my own.
Tigger, understand again. I understand that you want the spiritual
This is
light, and I think it's beautiful. I just don't see it in this midrash. I don't see the word spiritual, and I don't see the word light. Yeah, Mikel,
I think Bolette was first.
Bulede, yeah.
Yeah, I just had to unmute myself. Um, the only word we haven't talked about is, I think we haven't talked about, is kindle. But I'm not sure that's the right word, but
Yeah. So the first word, you're right that we start and finish with the word kindle, balotcha. So the
yeah.
first word is just because this is a word we're now referring to. It's very classic. When the midrash comes, it says which word is it we start this midrash from? Which word from the Torah the
Mm.
midrash goes out from? So it talks specifically about the kindle, but it also uses only the first word. So the word be'alotcha could either be kindle the light, but it doesn't say be'alotcha et hanorot. But it can also be about this paragraph. Like it can also refer to the whole
Okay.
like 3-4 sentences of the Torah that talks about lighting the candle. So that is not sure. You can't know from the word kindle, from the first word, if it refers to the whole parasha or only to the word be'alotcha. It could have. In other places, the word be'alotcha is very meaningful because halotcha is something about bringing up. So it could have been, but then I would expect to find something else that will talk about bringing something up, like that would have been in the center. But thank you for this is a try to find out what this midrash tried to say, right? Let's listen which unique words do we have here that we wouldn't find other places. Yes, Michael?
In this sentence we quote, it doesn't say the olive oil, where they say the other places. It doesn't. I just checked.
Yes. So in the other places it says the olive oil,
Yeah.
and here it says candles.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, regarding what you said now, I think it's very interesting to see exactly the phrase that the Midrash here uses in the beginning. The Midrash starts. What does the Midrash tell us? It tells us something very simple. Like before you go to the deeper sense, the Midrash tells us something. Listen, if you haven't noticed, if you slept while the Torah was read in the book of Shemot, and if you slept through the book of Vayikra, and only now you came to Bamidbar, and you think, now the first time that we hear about the menorah, the Midrash says, you should know. it's not only here that the menorah was written on, also some other places. Like this is a sentence we see, right? It starts, Balotcha. We find in many places, it's an interesting phrase, right? To say, this is found many places, not only one place. In this way, the Midrash tries to point us to an understanding that we might not have, something we might not have noticed, or just he wants to shed a light on something, right? They want us to focus. You should know this. And it doesn't say that it was also found two other places. It says many places. That the menorah is something that goes beyond only this part, only this practical. If you think when you come here to Parashat Baalotcha and you understand the rules and the details of how the menorah is lit, you should know that it came to other places too. Now, why do the Midrash want us to think that, like to be aware of this? Or even more, I would ask, why does the Torah tell us 3 different times about how to light the candles? Like, why? Like, there's no. Why do we need the Torah to tell us in both in Shemot and in Vaikra and in Bamidbar that about the menorah and how it's made and what it's supposed to do with it? Isn't it enough the first time when the Torah tells us to build it, that you also get instructions, how do you light it, and which oil and everything, and that's it? Why do we need 3 different texts that tells us more or less the same? Maybe the differences, but the Midrash here is not very focused about the differences, even though there are differences, and I agree, Michael, that there are differences. Here it says Nerot, and the other it says Shemen. The way the Midrash here presents it says it's all the same. It says one in Shemot, v'chen hu omer, the same is also written here, there, and the same is written here. The Midrash doesn't focus on the differences, it's actually focused on saying they're all the same, which even makes this question bigger. So if all the 3 places are the same, then why do we need 3 places? Why isn't enough with 1?
But this happened all the time in the Torah.
It happens.
Tiu Kedoshim, Tiu Kedoshim ki Kadosh Ani. It's like all the time in so many parashat we have the same and the same.
It actually, when you say Kedoshim Tiu ki Kadosh Ani, that is mainly in the book of Vaikra. You don't have the word Ki Kadosh Ani in Shemot, and you don't have that in Bamidbar. You actually, what you said now is a specific style of one place. And we have rules that are written once. We have rules that are written 3 times. Many times when, for example, when rules are written 3 times, maybe the most known rule that is written 3 times is what? Or the one that had the biggest consequences?
The one with the kid and the milk, and that means that
yes. You listen to the Shiurim very good, very well. The one that we says Lo tevashel gdi b'chalev imo. The fact that it's written 3 times brought so many midrashim and so many rules that are because it's written 3 times. So I'm saying here, yes, you're right, Paula. There are some other mitzvot that are written 3 times. Sometimes it doesn't matter, like the rabbis don't even okay, it's written here, it's written there, it's fine. Some mitzvot are written only once. My question is it, for me, it's not enough that, yes, it also happened other places. Maybe. But the Midrash here wanted us to know that it is written 3 times. Like the Midrash here wants to focus on the fact that it is written more than once and wants to teach us something about it. Like, why just saying that? Yes, it's right. We know. We read the Torah and we all learned. So why does the Midrash want us to be aware, and maybe in a deeper sense, what is the message behind this fact? Yes, Mika.
Maybe the fact that at the time the Midrash was written, there was a lot of pressure on that you will call it Bible critics that it's not written at the same time and so on, and especially those who claim that the temple should not be in Jerusalem, but other places, and therefore it's the same all over there. But that's quite far-fetched. But you were an
I
official.
think the Bible critics that saying that it's from different times,
Yeah.
they started like 1500 years after the Midrash. So I don't think it's against
No,
academical.
but the Karaim and the whole idea of should there be a temple in as
Yes.
the Karaite has or own in Jerusalem. So, but okay, it was very far-fetched. You were on a fishing expedition, so
Yeah, I think it's very, I would say it's very far-fetched. Other
Can,
options? Paula, I
can
can see,
it
yes,
be?
Paula?
Can it be because all this parashot is about now we have Korach, even that all these between the Levites and the Aram and all these conflicts that they were between them. So they want to like who is the one that light the candle? So is the Aaron, and
It was
so maybe
Aaron.
that's to be like say, okay, you do this and you do this, because we are going to see a lot of conflict now in the next parashot.
And how I understand what now you when you explain it in the connection of Bamidbar, but why does it help us that it was also mentioned in Vaikra and Shmot?
No.
Louisa, you have something. I can see you're burning with a.
No, I'm just thinking because I'm curious. I know the reason why the kid in the milk is mentioned 3 times, and now I'm thinking, why is this? So I'm just
First of all, you don't know the reason why it's mentioned 3 times
no, no,
because
no.
the
But that's
rabbi
what it has resulted
had
in.
many
Yeah,
explanations why it's written 3 times. So
yeah,
there's no the reason. There
yeah.
are many. Yes, Nigar?
But I also feel like it's not mentioning exactly the same thing, right? I mean, in the first one, it talks more about the oil, right? And what kind of oil they should bring. And the second one, it's more about like how to work with the menorah, right? And how to do that right. So it's sort of like two things and they're connected because without one, you can't have the other. But it's not the same exact sentence that's being repeated, right? I don't know if that has
Yeah.
any meaning,
Yeah,
but it's the same theme,
but
but
I would then ask you, then why not finish all the details in the first time? Like, why do the Torah spread the if let's say either
the
there are
suspense, I
differences,
don't know.
maybe there are no differences, maybe there are no differences. If there are differences, then why wait to the next book to finish the explanation? That doesn't make sense, right? That you finish the explanation in the next book, and another book went, and you find out, oh yeah, I forgot one detail. I will add it here. They're like,
But that's very normal. I feel like if if any book would do it, it would be the very first book, like But yeah, maybe
yeah,
I can see why that's not the case, but I wouldn't be surprised.
no. It's a good direction. So as I also said to Mika, I think that the Midrash here actually don't want to point on the differences, but more to point on the very fact that there are 3 places. Okay, because it's even like it says very explicitly, we find this many places. Like this is what the Midrash opened with. It's just saying we find this many places, here and here and here. And I think that the Torah here, the Midrash here focuses and gives us maybe an opening to something that we might not have thought about when we read the Torah. Actually, the fact that the different rules, especially rules around the temple, were given in 3 different places. We might have noticed it, but the Midrash wants us to focus on that fact. That if you go back, you would expect that all the rules of the temple would have been written in one book, right? Because it's supposed to be the rules of the temple. So why spread it in 3 different places? I have my suggestion, but it's a suggestion. It's not an answer. Okay, it is my answer, but it doesn't mean that this is the right answer. I think there's something about when we that the same thing can have different roles. Like you can have the same ritual. It's a bit like the thing I don't really understand, like quantum mechanics, like the same thing can be two things at the same time. There's something about that that it doesn't only work like from one like they can. So I just said quantum mechanics to sound wise. It's not because I really have any clue about what it is. But the fact that something can be three different things at the same time. And maybe a great example for that is the temple and everything that happened around the temple. So and here specifically we have like the light, that the light comes in every one of these, because not all the things are needed in all of the different temple descriptions. But we have the beginning of the temple description in the book of Shmot, where we have the Moshe who tells Bezalel to build and exactly how it needs to be built and so on. This is like the Mishkan. I use the word temple, but it's we talk about the Mishkan in general in the Torah. This is the first. What is the essence of the Mishkan in the book in the book of Exodus? I'm asking you. It's an open question. What is it? Why do we have this the Mishkan? Anyone dares to try?
Because
Now I
God,
ask, what do you remember? Right now you're not supposed to answer from the Midrash, but from what you remember. Yes, Paula?
because God takes them from Yad Chazakah from Mizraim, and he was going with them all the way to the desert. So he was always there. Was the cloud was the one that said when they were to stay and they were
Yes.
going to continue.
So why do they need to build a Mishkan?
Because maybe to have a
The
kind of a symbol.
For, I didn't hear because you spoke at the same time. Paula, what did you say? Why to build a Mishkan?
Maybe a kind of symbol, but Tikva so because for the Shekhinah, that's Tikva so.
What does it mean for the Shekhinah?
For I don't know, because the Shekhinah of Hashem was in the Mishkan, and all the menorah, the fire, the tefillot, the everything. So it was in the
Okay.
I
Michael,
don't know.
you want to continue that direction of the Shekhinah?
I'm not. You can say that after the golden calf, there was a express need to have a way to pray and not to do a bigger mistake. You can say that need continued throughout the history, but you can say
But the rules of the Mishkan were written before right? They were given to Moshe before the building the calf.
no, it's not exactly. That's not.
I'm saying in the structure of the Torah.
That's not. Yeah, but that's not true. It's that's not true, and especially my money does go and say that is this is right after the Ten Commandments. You have that you have that you can build an altar of earth wherever you are. So there was no need for a Mishkan. So if you can say, as I see, there was an express need to have a way to pray in order not to totally disintegrate the people. But you can say the need is the same also afterwards.
Okay, so I will disagree. Like I agree with you in the like halachically in the Maimonides way. I think that the Torah says very explicit, very clearly what is the goal of the Mishkan, and I would use the word that Tikva said. The word Mishkan, you said the word Shechina. The word Mishkan, how do we translate the word Mishkan? In Danish, in the Chumash.
Guddommelig nærvær.
No, the word Mishkan, not Shechina.
A temple?
In Danish, we say Boolean. What does it mean? This is a place for God to be present. Okay? So the Mishkan in the book of Shmot is very specifically with the goal of having a place for God. It means they need to create a house for God. So the Mishkan in the book of Shmot has the main focus on that this is the place for God to live in. When you continue to the book of Vayikra, what is the goal of the Mishkan in Vayikra?
Tehora, clean.
So in a way, you have all the. I would say that the book of Vayikra is very focused on the role of the Kohanim, like how all the priests, those who serve God, and how they are supposed to like take care of this holy place. That's the reason of the word Leviticus. Even though the Bamidbar talks a lot about Levim, like Paula said, but the book of Vayikra is very much focused about how the Kohanim are securing the purity of the people and the purity of the temple and all of the things that is very focused on the priests, I would say, and their role within the Kodesh. And then when we come to the book of Bamidbar, the direction is of the people. That's why the offering that we talk a lot about the offering, but suddenly we talk about the offering of the people and the different all the leaders. So we'd say that the temple, the tabernacle, the holy place, the Mikdash, have different roles. It has a ritual role, like we of Korban Tamid, of taking care of the world in serving God. It has a role of the personal, individual atonement and bringing a different offering that he needs to clear himself or to to come forward, to continue. Purify, yes, to purify himself. And then you have a role of being the center of the Jewish people, like being a place that is the symbol for Jews, and the heart of the Machaneh, like the heart of Israel gathering. And you have also the Mishkan, the place that God lives. You have different aspects of that. And that's why we will have again and again, and not the same. We don't have the description of everything every time. There are a few things that the Torah repeats in all three. For example, the menorah. There are things that are only mentioned once because they're not relevant for the other things. Okay, so there are things that are only relevant to one aspect of the temple, so they're not mentioned all three times. But there are things that are relevant in every aspect. So the menorah is being light both for God's sake and the priest's sake and Israelites' sake. So it will come in all the three places. And I think that the Midrash here lights on this differences for us to look on the reading and the understanding. And the Midrash here helps us being aware of this fact and understanding what does it mean to the way we perceive God. Because it's so easy to perceive the way we think. Because we think from our perspective. And the Midrash here tells us, listen, the Torah has many different perspectives. And the same element and the same ritual can serve both one goal and the other goal, or even the third goal too. So it can serve different goals, and sometimes it can serve only one goal. And this is by very beautifully, I think, the Midrash only lies it down, right? It only says, listen, the Torah repeats itself. Look on that fact. Go and study. Try to understand why is it the Torah repeats itself. Maybe another reason that the Torah repeats itself, and this is my interpretation, the Midrash here is actually an opening. It's not a closing. It doesn't tell us. It doesn't give us the answer. It actually opens a question, like being aware of something, and now you need to come with understanding. Why is it that it is like that? And this is a beautiful tool that the Midrash does, right? Just lying a fact and let us come with interpretations. So this was my interpretation. You are very welcome to continue and think and maybe come to new ideas and explanations. Good. Any questions here? Because I thought this one will be the short one. Then we'll have time for the bigger one that I brought. I thought this will only be an anecdote. So I have a long one. I think the other one is more. It's actually more clear. Like the message is more direct. So I think we'll manage to read it also within 20 minutes. And if not, we can continue study, which is also good. Yes, so let's read the other Midrash. This is a Midrash Rabbah, it's number 15 in the Midrashim. I had many Midrashim to read to choose the most beautiful and best Midrashim that I chose for you today. Yes, anyone else wants to read before I lose my voice? Anyone?
I can read.
Thank you, Paula. Yes.
Rabbi Levi Bar Rabbi says, a pure menorah descended from heaven, from the Holy One, blessed be He, said to Moses, Exodus 25:31, and you shall make a menorah of pure gold. Moses asked, how shall we make it? He said to him, the menorah shall be made of hammered work. Yet Moses
it's very important here because we have here
hammered.
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 It's important. I stop here because it has something to do with the explanation of the Midrash. The word in the Torah is miksha te'aseh menorah. Miksha mean that it's done like it's hammered, like, but it's also done from one piece. Okay, so it's not like you don't create the one and stick it to it, but it's created from one piece. But also the word miksha reminds us of another word, right? Which word in Hebrew?
Kasher.
Kasher, yes, hard. So the word miksha in the Midrash here is going to play on that. That's why I had to stop you to explain this. So the word miksha sounds like the word kasher, hard. Okay, continue.
Yet Moses still found it difficult, and he descended.
Nitkasha Moshe. This is the word. So miksha taseh, nitkasha Moshe. Okay, so it was hard for him. The word miksha, nitkasha. Yes.
Yet Moses still found it difficult, and he descended and forgot how it was to be made. He went back up and said, Master of the universe, how shall we make it? He said to him, the menorah shall be made of hammered work. Yet Moses still found it difficult, descended and forgot again. He went back up and said, Master of the universe, I have forgotten. God showed it to Moses, yet he still found it difficult. He said to him, see and make. And he even took a menorah of fire and showed him how to make it. Yet even so, Moses found it difficult.
Okay, a beautiful description. I need to mention you, of course, Moses here is 80 years old, so the fact that he forgets is not a surprise. There's no hint in the Torah that Moses forgot. Okay, I'm saying this Midrash doesn't talk about the simple. It doesn't say in the Torah in no way that Moses forgot. The Midrash here takes this word miksha and decides to make it to a huge thing, that Moshe hitkasha, and it found hard, and he forgot again, and he forgot again, and he forgot again, and then he came to God the fourth time and says, I don't remember. So God shows him how to do it, and even though God shows him in fire, how? Moses still found it difficult. Okay? Let's continue the Midrash. The Holy One, yes, Paula.
Therefore,
no, the Holy One.
The Holy One, blessed be He, many times. What
said to him here.
The Holy One, The Holy One, blessed be he, said to him, Go to Bezalel, and he will make it. Moses told Bezalel, and he made it immediately. Moses was astonished and said, I was shown by the Holy One, blessed be he, many times, and still found it difficult to make. Yet you, who never saw it, made it from your own understanding. Bezalel, Betsail El, you must have been standing in God's shadow when the Holy One, blessed be he, showed me how to make it.
Yes, Betzel El is God's shadow. El, God, Betzel in the shadow. So he said, Betzalel, your name is like Betzel. You were standing in God's shadow while he showed me how to do this menorah. Okay. Therefore,
when the temple was destroyed, the menorah was hidden away. And this is one of the 5 things that were hidden: the ark, the menorah, the fire, the Holy Spirit, and the cherubim. And when the Holy One, blessed be he, returns in his mercy and rebuild his house and his sanctuary, he will restore them to their place to bring joy to Jerusalem, as it is said, Isaiah, the wilderness and the arid land shall rejoice. It shall blossom and rejoice.
yes. So we have here like a comfort midrash, finishing with saying, because of this menorah was created in this unique, very special way, this will be one of the 5 things that were hidden since the first temple. Like 5 things that wasn't found again: the menorah, the ark, the menorah, the fire, the Holy Spirit, the Ruach HaKodesh, the Shekhinah maybe, and HaKruvim, and the cherubs, HaKruvim. So, and finishes saying that hopefully because of this unique way it was created, God will also bring them back to the future. What do you think of this midrash? I have different directions, but I want to open first. Any ideas? Something? You know what? I'll ask a question. So to open it, to make it more clear. My question is, how does the ending, how are the endings supported by the beginning? Like the ending of saying that that's why, lefichach, therefore, when the temple was destroyed. What does it mean, therefore? Therefore, because of which part? Like, what is the part here that is, like, if it was, for example, there are other midrashim here that comes and says, midrashim that came before here, that says that God created the menorah miraculously. That he didn't, he showed Moshe, but Moshe couldn't do it, and God did it himself. And like Moshe threw the gold in the fire, and the menorah came out, a bit like the golden calf, right? Like Aaron said, the golden calf came out. And so the midrashim come and say, but this is not one of these midrashim. The midrash here doesn't say that if it was that God created it miraculously, then I would understand why it concludes that now that it disappeared, God will bring it back in the future, because God was the first one to bring it. But how is it connected? The fact that Moshe couldn't build it and only Bezalel could build it, how did that connected to finishing with saying that this is one of the 5 things that disappeared and will be back in the future temple to come when Mashiach will come one day? How are these things connected?
Take the text up.
What?
Take the text up to the start so we can see it.
To the start, yes.
Yeah. It says it came down from the heavens.
Yeah.
So this supports the idea that it was God who made it.
So But this is not what is described in the Midrash.
I know.
So now you strengthen my question. Why does it say here, Menorah Torah yarda min hashamayim, if the Midrash comes and says that Bezalel built it?
Good question.
So thank you for adding another question. Thank you. You gave this question.
I didn't count very well, but it's like Moses went up and down like 3 times. Even here is the number
I think it
3
says 4
again.
times he forgets
4
it.
times, okay. Oh.
Like 3 times God says, the last time God shows him in fire, but then Moses still forgets. Or like the word is not, some of it is, the first time it is forget, but then the word that goes again and again, also in the first time, is that nitkasha. As I said, like the word miksha, nitkasha. This is something in hard. It's hard for Moshe to do it.
But something came down from him, from the heavens, and afterwards they have to build something. So maybe something came down and they built something else. Maybe the gold came down, and it says there it came down.
Yes, the beginning, but then there's an explanation. The first sentence, Menorah Torah yarda min hashamayim, and then comes the explanation. How did a pure menorah come from the heavens? This is the whole midrash, right? So the first sentence is like an explanation, and you're right. This is what connects the ending with the beginning. But then the question is, but it wasn't. Bezalel built it. So what is the teaching that the Midrash here comes to tell us about it? It can be only a Midrash of Nechama, right? We have these Midrashim that wants to give us hope for the future, to help us in the difficult times, which of course is good. We have many Midrashim Nechama of how it will be better in the future and how difficult is it today. But I want to go a bit like another step to say, but how does this Midrash do it? Why did the Midrash also show Moses so I know the word weak, like show Moshe in his difficulties? Why does it say how like what kind of an image of Moshe we have here? Yes, Boleder.
Maybe because God's work is hard to do. Moshe is only human. So what God asks of him is very hard, and because he is human, and because what God makes it's not something we humans can do. I don't know.
So
I don't see he seems weak, but it might also be the task God is asking of him.
it's too big.
It's
maybe too big. It's too complicated. But then he's amazed because Bezalel managed to do it without any, without like only from what he heard from Moshe. Moshe couldn't remember what it was. Ask Bezalel to make it, and boom, it's done. Yes, Nigal?
I mean, similar to what Bulet said, but maybe just to show that we have different humans on planet Earth, and some can do things and others can't, but it doesn't make you better or worse. I mean, Moshe was great in many ways, but he was also maybe not so great in other ways, and that's okay. He's still Moshe Rabbeinu. And Bezalel is maybe not so great in one thing, but he could make the menorah, boom, just like that, and that's great. And we need both, so maybe that's kind of the point.
Yeah, so we have here a message that comes in a way already also in the Torah itself, right? That when God tells Moshe, we have Bezalel to do this. Karati b'Shem, Bezalel ben Uri ben Hur. So and so we have, yes, as you said, like we don't have all the knowledge and all the powers and all the like virtues in one person. There's no such a person. Moshe is human, and Bezalel here comes as a great artist, managing to do something that Moshe could never do. So that's definitely a message that is lying behind here. Like showing Moshe's difficulties gives us like a perspective on what kind of leadership we are supposed to expect, and the idea that different places, people should bring their different strengths to do that. Yes, Bolero?
And maybe if we work together, we can achieve the goals we cannot do by ourselves.
That yes, working together, which is now the interesting part here, that also with Bezalel, if I continue to that direction, but maybe twist it a bit, God tells Moshe go to Bezalel. Now he could have told Moshe go to Bezalel the first time, right? It's also interesting, like the decision to okay, Moshe, 4 times he forgot. Okay, go to Bezalel. Moshe has to work first. So it's not immediately, like if the message was you should share then it should have maybe come immediately. No, Moshe needs to understand something. So we have to first have difficulties. The menorah is supposed to be kashe. It's supposed to be not easy. It's supposed to be something that Moshe struggles with and can't find a solution. He needs to come to the point that he says, I just can't. Even when you show it to me in front of me, you make a menorah fire, I see it, and I can't do it. Like, even though you show me exactly how it's supposed to be, I can't do it. Moshe needs to come to that point of understanding that I can't do something. But then, the beautiful thing, he goes down to Bezalel. The beautiful thing here, he goes to Bezalel and tells he will do it. So he goes and tells Bezalel, and he did it immediately. And the word that Moshe says, how could you manage to do it? עד שלא ראית, עשית מדעתך. You who haven't seen it, you've never seen it, you made it from your own understanding. And there's something so beautiful here, I think, that the Torah teaches us a very deep thing exactly on what Michael said in the beginning. He said, it says, menorah Torah yarda min hashamayim. How did a pure menorah came down from the heavens? It came through a Bezalel who didn't hear how he's supposed to do it. Bezalel who didn't get an explanation, he didn't get a manual, he didn't get a description, he just get the message, do it. And Moshe tells him, how can you do it without seeing? You did it from your own understanding. You created it from your vision. This is Bezalel. You were Bezalel when God showed it to me without knowing it. Right? He tells Bezalel, it's not Bezalel who comes, how did you know it? I had a vision. This is not what the Moshe here acknowledges the doing of Bezalel and the thing that Bezalel comes from his own mind as God's, as if God gave it directly to Bezalel. And this is something we can learn about the idea of holiness and holy things coming from the heavens. Because how did the Menorah Torah go down from the skies? How did the Menorah Torah come a pure menorah descend from the heaven? Through a Bezalel who imagined, who fantasized it, who understood how it's supposed to look. Which means, how do we find God's things on earth? We don't need to wait for them to descend from the earth, from the heavens. We don't need a Moshe to see it in fire. We need regular people who can fantasize, who can imagine. This is Ruach Elohim. This is Bezalel. You are in the shadow of God because you can imagine the things in your own head, not because you actually saw it. But because there's something about the divine inspirations that you get here, that this is how magical things come from heaven. Menorah Torah yoredet min hashamayim, descended from the heavens, not through a mystical. If I will compare this to, there was a big debate about the third temple in the creation of the state of Israel, and some of the opinions were we're not allowed to do anything because the third temple has to descend from heavens, and so we are not supposed to do anything. We have to wait for the temple to descend from heaven. And I think this Midrash comes and tells us about how do things descend from heaven. It's not only tells us to look forward to a future when God will take care of us and mystically give us the Holy Spirit and the Kruvim and the Menorah and the Aron. It actually tells us these things come from people who are B'Tsel'el, like people who can connect to the pure understanding of what God wants. This is the way to do it, and it gives us, it creates this mystical thing into something that will be a more. Now, of course, it's dangerous to act knowingly, saying that God gave us this message, and this is definitely not what the Midrash says here, because the person who says that B'Tsel'el did God's mission was Moshe. It not B'Tsel'el who came and said, "I know what God wants." No, Moshe viewed what B'Tsel'el did and says, "Wow, here I can see something that descended from heaven. I can see that you stood in the shadow of God." Not because B'Tsel'el declared himself. Someone who comes and declares, "I act in the name of God," be very, very careful with whatever he says. But someone else being inspired and looking and says, "Wow, what you did now, we can see here," this makes it more realistic, I would say. Yes, Michael?
It's extremely beautiful, and I think you expressed the whole idea of the Torah Sheba'al Peh. The whole idea you say in this Tel-El, that the whole idea that that is man, that is our task, and it is a divine Torah Sheba'al Peh, but it's made by people, men and women, not by God. But it is God's. We say it's heavenly, but it's made by us. Our understanding of how we want it to, we believe God would like it to be.
And we should find the heavenly. Don't wait to heavenly to messages from the heaven. Find
The
it
heavenly,
in the people.
yeah, but the heavenly is
Find it
here.
within us.
The heavenly
Yes.
is here. Fantastic.
Yes.
Fantastic.
Good. Shabbat Shalom. Thank you. I enjoyed really much. Maybe I will ask Moshe David to not set me up with another rabbi, because I enjoy so much the wisdom of your. And many times when we're two rabbis, you all listen to us too way too much. So maybe it's not a bug; it's a feature. Good. All the best. Shabbat Shalom.
Thank you very much.
Shalom.
Shabbat
שלום,
shalom.
שבת שלום.
Thank you.
שבת שלום יאיר, אמרת ממש נכון. כשאתה מנהל שיח איתנו זה הרבה יותר מעניין מאשר עוד שני אנשים שמדברים ביניהם ואנחנו סתם איזה זבוב על הקיר.
וגם בסדר לפעמים, אבל זה נחמד גם וגם.
הרבה יותר נעים ככה. תודה רבה.
מעולה, אני גם נהנה מאוד. להתראות.